Welcome back to the Quest for Treasure on the Quest for Details channel. We have a pick and a bag. We're climbing a mountain to an old mine where there's a huge quartz layer and boulders of quartz everywhere. We're going to look through it for anything precious. Let me tell you, this is steep and it's horrible. I just got out a knee-high star thistle, and if you don't know them, they're like any other thistle. There's thistles all over the world, and these are just as horrible. And we're in fire country. It's all just collapsed down trees and crumbly rock. You're climbing on it. It's just crumbling away. Everything you touch is rotten. It's just not easy. And we're going way up there. This is going to be an out of breath video, so I'm not going to apologize every time. Nor am I going to stop to completely catch my breath and lose pace. But as I climb up here, what I've noticed before in a previous hike is that they were definitely mining this ore out of this whole area. This is all serpentine, but there's a big old thick layer of quartz. I mean, thicker than I am tall. But all over there's unnatural faces. And some of them could be argued to be water made or erosive made. Other ones are obvious dig-ins. If you look at my area in my country in California, and you look at the map, there are just endless pickaxe and shovel marks. And we are around a main metropolitan area, the San Francisco Bay Area, relatively close. We're within 60 or 70 miles, so resources have been stripped from these areas, from these mountains, and past us, you know, since the beginning of California modern days. In the 1850s. So whether it was gold, quicksilver, or some other ore that they needed to mine. So we're hiking up to the equivalent of what you see there on our own side. And I just noticed that as you look across, you can see spots where they dug in. This is quartz. So whether they were getting cinnabar out of the red end of the quartz world or gold, I do not know. Hello, dragonfly. But I was thinking we should go up and look at the quartz closer and look for veins and cracks and crevices and crystals. Yeah? I've struck onto an old road here. You can hear the modern one way down below. You can see it's old. It's that rutted. These whole hills were worked. And in fact, this stretch between these towns wasn't paved until 1978. But you can see how much serpentine. That's all serpentine. And then there's just one stripe of quartz through here. And I've seen the face of it where they dug in over there, but this is kind of climbing, going up around. I've never been on it. And the view is quite nice. I may have been one of the few people to be on this road in a long time. So always a chance to see farther out, see other places you haven't gone or seen. So we'll double back. There might even be a road. This road might even be going there. For now, we'll add on to our mission and see where it goes also. It's all downhill from here. So many other cool cliff faces. See, these are back valleys that you'll never see unless you're climbing up looking across to them. And they definitely dug in. You can see the meadows down below, which are probably a result of digging in and all that loose dirt being able to grow more grass than the steeper brushy slopes. But there's that one. These are small for out here. But what you're looking at with the grass on it might have all been one. And it goes over. And there's another, and those are just unnaturally deep and steep. If you look on the edges of it, everything oxidizes. I don't know how long, thousands, millions maybe, but it oxidizes. That's the red earth. And then you can see the fresher wound, the whole inside of that. But those would be some interesting washes to climb up and see what minerals are in them. Other than that, you have a whole valley here. And these rock faces are awesome looking. Might have caves in them. And might just be natural tumble down areas, but that would be a crevice crystal zone too. That one's monumental. That's how far away we are. We're not doing that today. That'd be a cool peak to climb up on too. Okay, we're gonna climb. Sorry, moving fast in zoom. We're gonna climb up this way. Towards the hill. Oh, the things you can see in California looking down from up high. We're gonna leave this little man-made road now. I'm curious where it keeps going to. I always am. It seems to sneak off in the distance. I'm just gonna sneak around the front here and look at where they were digging in the side of this hill. So for now, some more brush whacking. Okay. I don't know if you can tell, but this cleft in the hillside here with all the thick bushes, it might even have a cave in it. We're gonna be careful, but it's unnatural. I think I'm gonna climb around the top of it here and look at the area where they were digging in, but maybe we'll go look at the tumble down first. This whole ledge that you're looking at before it drops over the edge into the greater valley there is all push out from the activity. Man, that's a thick spot where I would sleep if I was a bear. Well, we shall see. This is the same schist that I've seen them digging on before. It has, I'm just calling it schist. I don't know if that's the right word. It's the word that comes to mind. It's a very leery creature. It's not sparkly big sparks up here. And here's a very minimal amount of the quartz right there. Let's go look in the hillside for crevices and get above these big lurky bushes. Alright, I tell you, I think we were here at the right time before. It was right after the fires. And none of this was here when we were looking at bare veg. I'm going to tell you what. It's a little overgrown now. I'll be honest with you too, part of the reason I'm here repeatedly. Look how deep that canyon is down there. Is that an old-time tractor driver I know from the area out here told me that behind this place, meaning the ruins that are down in front, he saw the biggest quartz crystals of his life. He always kicked himself in the butt. He said this is 50 years, who knows how many years have passed between then and now, that he didn't drive out to that old abandoned ranch and scoop up one of those crystals and put it in his yard. Because he's a tractor driver and he could have. But he said that you'd have to have a tractor to move them. So that eternally bounces around in my head. So here we are, digging through the brush. I'm going to keep at it for a while. I do not have anything except for rough chunks of quartz sticking out of poison oak scrub and incredible views. Incredible views. Well, we are here. I don't know if you can tell how steep that is, but we're at the top of the diggings. Unfortunately, that might not mean we're at the good stuff, because I remember what I decided about this mine was that they had probably stopped both when the price of what they were going after fell out and when it became too much work to keep removing the overburden, the top of the mountain, away to get at the vein that they were following back into it. You know, you find them out on the slopes, and as you dig back, you gotta keep peeling the top of the mountain off to get at it, and that becomes very, you know, every day, thicker and thicker as you go back. So we're gonna go ahead and follow this little deer trail over here. I might even poke over the edge and see what's right up there without sliding down the scree and who knows what. And we're gonna look in these faces for little crevices full of quartz crystals or other minerals that they weren't going after. That's how miners tend to be when they're on a vein. Because it's just all about production. And yeah, we have overhanging rocks, so we're going to be careful. I'm going to climb up there and look. I'll get you out when we're up there. There's mineralization up here. This is the quartz that their boulders here as big as me that they were digging out of the slope. So they weren't going after the quartz, they were going after layers of something in the quartz. There it is. You see the red there? That's iron oxidized quartz. And the gray on either side is this host rock that you'll see all through the rest of this video. And in the other video. So we're going to keep our eyes out real careful. Because when a mine is moving along and they're chunking along looking for what they are, they might be tossing whole little pockets of druzy out behind them and such. Or littler specimens or whatever they were looking for that they missed. Because this looks like it was a dynamite it, bring it down type of operation. Okay, we're up on a vein. This is a part of the vein. It's also poison oak. But this is what it looks like going through here. See it running up. It's been speculated by a lot of locals I've talked to about that this is actually a gold mine. And that it just exhausted out early. And it's just not recorded. There's a lot of quartz that they were going after. There's a chunk of the old vein itself. You know, top of the mountain. That's the top of the overburden above us. So they had to keep removing all through here. And that might explain all the other diggings, because when they had exhausted this out to where they could reasonably get at it with their equipment, then they moved on to other stripes that were sticking out in the area. Let's look for pockets and crevices, I'll let you know. Spooky, because I knew that's where we were. This is the top of a cliff. Right. Cause an avalanche here that takes us out. Oh, well, that's stopped on the edge of it. But beyond that bush. And that's the tailings pile, so this is a good chance to stand up here and get vertigo. There's a straight, horrible cliff right below us. And let me show you the tailings pile down here. These boulders are as big as me. And they were pulling all of those out. And let me show you. This whole thing is actually a tailings pile. Down to a keeper reservoir. See the dam there? And the reservoir. There's another ledge that's all tailings. And then even where the modern road goes now, there's all tailings out here. There's an old house site and stuff. And the road is breaking right there. and sliding out, and that's why, is because where they dug in here and pushed and pushed and pushed off the way down into the canyon and built their little old house sites. They're all scattered down through here. Now it's eternally sliding and sliding and sliding. I don't know if you can make that out. There's roads and other little keeper dams and stuff. Yeah, we're not going to go too close to the edge because this doesn't look bad here, but there's just a sharp line, and I've been up to the face of it, and this is an actual cliff. So I don't know how much more we're going to dork around. Didn't have a good plan. There's another face here, but that'd be ridiculous to climb out to without a rope, back up, or having told anybody where I went. Things not to do at home. But God, I have never seen the area I live in from this angle. Way down at the bottom of all that is canyons and neighborhoods, and whew, I'll fall off this mountain. That's that pointy hill. Okay. So we have climbed down. We were up there. We're trying to climb down to the face of it now. Keeping my eyes out for... And those are nice chunks, don't get me wrong. I'm looking for crystals. Spear tips. Looks like the right type of stuff. There's just not a bunch of druzy laying around showing that it was forming tips. But we'll keep looking. Okay, just maybe not the type of rock. See how it's breaking so square, and I can look down in there. There's just no mineralization between the layers. And the quartz is running flat in it, running this way. It's really tight, and meaning no air spaces with it and stuff. All the air spaces are occurring in the natural fracturing of the rock. And yeah, just not seeing that the quartz has moved down into that at all. And we are right on the seam as it dives back into the mountain. You can see the thickness of it there. It runs from almost magnesite looking white into the clears of the quartz. That whole thing. And that's gray host rock. So if there was anything here spilling down in the dirt, we'd have a good chance at seeing it, no matter how big it was. There's lots of little pieces of broken, but nothing that looks like a spear tip so far. I will let you know. Okay, we are right below the main vein where you could tell that they did the most digging. And there's a lot of quartz to be had here. I'm not necessarily here to take anything as much as I am figure out what's here before it's too late, because you never know. If there was one darn crystal though, you'd expect to be able to see it in all this scree. I mean, this was their workings. The last people that were here were digging into this quartz. It's got some nice greens to it. I don't know if that's picking up In this light, maybe we'll shade it a little. Just some green staining, probably copper, arsenic, manganese, something like that. I think iron turns green, manganese colors when it's super old. And I'm just looking for even one piece that's got a strong, I mean, it's got some sparkle, but no, well there, that's it. I don't know if you can see that. There's some real sparkle on that side. The light on this hill is hard on the camera when looking at white stones. Big chunks all over. I had just come up here on several other missions and hadn't slowed down to that level where you can say, yeah, no, there wasn't crystals all over. I'm seeing a lot of quartz in a lot of different forms. But I'm not even seeing red cinnabar crystals formed or anything as far as spears. Microcrystalline, yes. Mountains full. Here is a chunk of this vein, and you see the thing is that they weren't going for this quartz either. This is just another overburden, but whatever they were getting out of it, I don't know, because I just don't see anything but the white quartz left. And you have to think that that's probably what they're going after, because out of all of everything on this hillside, this quartz stands out, and it's what's laced all through everything. And yet, I don't know what it was that they were seeking. And no crystals. Unless that's it. Unless that's the last traces of a cinnabar deposit right there. The little bit of red that you see in the cracks of that. It might have been the edge of a big old thick layer that they followed through the quartz. Almost right there you can see red crystal to it. And that could be likely. So you think you'd find one just, you know, chunk of something where they missed it, all these tailings. Just one little piece that made it obvious for us. It's really what I'm looking for, is some sort of closure so I don't have to climb up this steep mountain again. Not that I mind it. I just, I don't know. Maybe this stuff is the ore. Maybe no actual mercury crystals here. Maybe when they smelt this stuff, the mercury comes out. Or maybe it was a gold mine. I don't know. Whew. Thistles. Thistles and thistles and thistles, but no crystals. Thistles and thistles, but no crystals. Yellowy chunk, huh? It's almost citrine-ish. But you see what I mean. Huge tailings pile. All quartz. All big pieces of quartz. Not one little patch of druzy. Here's a chunk of the quartz layer. I think the fire broke it. I think the fire broke a long time ago because it's got lichens on its broken side. So those two went together and haven't for a while. See the lichens? There's a piece to carry out, huh? Holy moly. Well, shoot, I don't know what to say about today's hike. We've been all up there and all over there and all the way down. I don't know if it was a skunking or not. But I do see a little deer trail out of here through the thistles that meanders back in the direction I need to go. I think I'm going to take it while we're on it. Keep elevation. Okay, I have gathered a treasure. I've done this in another video, but it's about time to do it again for everybody who's been in the fire areas. Don't forget, if you're at a point of recovery where you are able to focus on things like art and regathering of items, possessions, materials, and such, don't forget to look around at the wood that's been burnt. These are bushes that are completely dead now that have a habit out here of growing burls on their trunks or their root wads. So we'll take this home, we'll slice it open, and I'll show you how beautiful these little treasures are. Everybody knows about big burls on trees, but if you look around at a lot of bushes, I will show you 99% of the bushes on the slope, these are dead ones, these are the new ones regrowing, have burls for root masses. Do you see that? That's a big old burl. That's one that was on there. Here's another one on the trunk here. It makes beautiful wood for the scales on knives and stuff like that. And just some of these actual limbs themselves, even though they're completely burnt off. But a lot of times that's what's left. See how this is just a burnt chunk of burl, but inside that is good wood. Maybe not this one because it's so small. And there was a mini one that got toasted. But we'll go ahead and hang on to this one and maybe gather another one. I'm thinking this was just cut with the handsaw and then power sanded real quick and had some wax rubbed on it. I'm thinking, just for demonstration's sake, let's take it across the thick part and see what's in there. Okay, we are getting a good long ways there on the sanding. Here's the before. That's why I use the sawzalls to make that skinny cut, and then I use a fine, I think we're at 220, super fine grit. Okay, on this side, I think we're going to go ahead and apply some oil. Now darken it up a little bit and bring out a lot of the rings, and then we're going to put, I just use regular wax, like from a candle, and I don't even heat it up, I'll just rub it on there and then buff it back down. But I'll show you after the oil. That'll change it a little bit. See, that just darkened it up. But it also brought out all the reds and crimsons. Here's some direct light on it after the wax application. And you can see the burls and the swirls in the grain. Isn't that beautiful stuff? And you could lacquer this or shellac it or do anything you want, and you can see the rough outside. And sometimes it's real fun to leave that rough outside, and you know, just for contrast. But that's what everybody's walking by when they see just the burnt out stumps in the landscape. And that's what's inside. Like all things, split the wood, flip the stone, and there I am. And with even just a lighter or a little bit more heat, all the wax that you see in the cracks will disappear, and those cracks can be filled in by lots of things. There's so many different varnishes and clear different things that they've made now that go in it. But I wanted to show you the mushrooming out in this one. It literally flowers out in all directions. And you could go ever finer with the sanding to where it was just glossy already. And this could get slabbed out and laid into things. But I just kind of like faceting up burls like they were gemstones, you know. And that's all I used was just some oil, any sort, and wax. The Sawzall. The smoother of a blade, the reason why I was using the fine tooth all metal blade is because it leaves less marks on there. You see the finish, and I just started with 220 after that. I believe is the grit. I haven't looked on the back of it. Just pretty fine. You know, it would be considered fine sandpaper. And got it down to there. But if you're a woodworking person, then you know that you can literally put on finer and finer grits beyond that and make it just gloss in the first place, and then, like I said, lacquer, and could be all sorts of things. Right now I'm just kind of exposing the wood inside of them and looking at what we have. I think we have some beautiful stuff. So, hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to work on, it actually takes a lot of time to get it to there. I'm going to work on that other half in the coming week, and I'm going to go and gather some more different pieces of wood. I want to plane them down also. These pieces can be cut into stock strips, and they have just as pretty wood in there. But get just around the edges. See all the teeny tiny knots because it was a root wad. And staining from being in the dirt, and they're just awesome creatures. Each one different, and then a slice down from this an inch deeper would be a totally different thing. Just the back side of this slice is going to be a totally different thing. So, if you like this, pay attention for that video coming up. It's on its way. Thanks for joining me on the quest for details. We'll see you next time.